Hello and welcome to the bonus training on how to create amazing video. In this short training session, we're going to talk through some of the key elements to making video for your business, and we'll touch on uploading them to YouTube. Other platforms are available, and we'll talk about some of the key points that you really need. Before I get started, I will touch on the content. Now, if you're just turning your camera on and just talking without any forethought or planning, you probably need to have a little bit of rethink on that. You do need some structure to your videos, and you do need some idea of where your content's going and what it's going to provide kind of before you create it. Otherwise, you could end up going off down various paths that you necessarily didn't intend to, may not be fully relevant to what you originally talked about in your title, and it could end up being just not a very good video. So let's dive straight in and let's have a look at your goals. So how to create amazing video is basically a little cheat sheet we put together because a lot of people aren't using video for their business. Now, if you think that you can just use images and photos and write the odd post on Twitter without any kind of video or graphics, same with Facebook. Obviously, YouTube is a video platform. If you're going to create a channel on there, you've got to produce video, but there are cheats around being on screen, if you like, which I wouldn't necessarily advocate, because the connection with you is really what people look for oftentimes. It's not just a case of getting across pertinent and relevant information. People will identify and connect with you as a person. So if you're on screen, that's clearly going to be a lot easier. So if you didn't plan on getting on screen and putting yourself out there and positioning yourself as the expert, possibly time for a little change of mindset, maybe a little upgrade there, because really video is essential for marketing today. You can still get by without it, but it's so much easier with it, let's be honest. Who doesn't like listening to an expert talk and actually being able to see who they're listening to? It's just human nature. People like to connect. They connect with other people. They don't connect with information. They don't connect with systems. They don't connect with services. They connect with people. As a property professional, I'm sure you're fully aware of this, but the same is true for your marketing and your advertising strategies. If you're in the frame, on camera, giving people the information straight up and direct, straight from the horse's mouth, as it were, then there's far more likelihood that they're going to actually connect with you and listen to what you have to say. A little side benefit, and certainly for now, things may change in the future, but actually advertising, if you're spending money on advertising your business, as I'm sure you are, and even if you're trying Facebook ads and things like that, and you're not using video, you're actually not getting the cheapest form of advertising, because video views are one of the cheapest ways to advertise, particularly if you do a good job. And so actually getting comfortable with being on video and actually making sure that you are able to get your message across in a succinct way and actually structure your videos such that people get the information that they want and need, then that's really going to help you with your advertising budget as well. Now, a lot of people don't actually think they can make videos because they think they've got to go out and they've got to buy the latest and greatest Canon, or some amazing piece of technology that's going to help them create this amazing video content for their channel, for their blog post, for their social media marketing, whatever. The fact is, if you've got a smartphone, you've already got pretty much everything that you need to make a video. The cameras on smartphones these days are amazing. I mean, even if your phone is 2, 3, 4 years old, but it's still a smartphone, it's going to make great video. The cameras have been good enough for that long. If you've got a brand new smartphone, one of the latest iPhones or one of the latest Samsung phones, one of their flagship phones, even if it's a Nokia or a Sony, whatever it might be, all of the cameras on them are brilliant. You only really need to be able to record at 1080p, which they're all perfectly capable of doing. 30 frames a second is more than enough, although many will do much higher resolution than that. There are plenty of phones that are coming out that can record in 4K. You just don't need it. There are certain situations where it would be helpful, but honestly, if it records in full HD, that's all you need. Now, there is one caveat to that, and it will depend a little bit on your environment, where you're recording. If you're outside and it's a bit windy, a bit blowy, if you're near a road and there's road noise, that can be an issue. There are ways around it. You can buy cheap mics that have got the little windshields. You can get Lavalier mics. They can get quite expensive, but it doesn't need to be. There's some really good ones. Just go on to something like Amazon or eBay, have a look for the mics and look at the reviews, see what people are saying about them and make sure that they're good quality before you purchase. But you can pick up a really good mic for as little as, you know, 20-30 pounds. There's really, you know, no excuse for not having it. Now, the reason for that is, if you're indoors, just being close enough to your phone, or even if you're using a webcam, for example, a lot of webcams have really good mics on them as well, but just make sure that, you know, you do a little test recording, play it back, make sure it's not picking up any background noise, and just make sure that the audio is clear and it's not too quiet, because the audio quality on a video does need to be quite good, well, very good in fact. So actually, the built-in mics on phones, if you're in a quiet room, that's going to be good enough for you. But if you do think you're going to be venturing out or you're going somewhere that's a little bit noisy, possibly investing in a mic will be really good value for money. Now, of course, when you've made your video and you want to put it onto your website, maybe you'll host the videos yourself. If you've got a platform that's capable of doing that, that's fine. A lot of people will host on YouTube, which is perfectly fine. There are other platforms available. There are pros and cons to all of them. YouTube is obviously a free platform, and it's the second largest search engine in the world, so obviously a really great place to be. But there are other platforms and they do have some other benefits, SEO and otherwise. Won't go into that now. We'll start assuming you're going to get started with YouTube, and you can check out the other places for hosting videos at a later date, because that's not really important. What's more important is the fact that you're creating the video, you have a good message, you follow the few rules that we're about to go through right now, and you just put together, in essence, a quality video that's going to help people. And that's enough to get you started. You don't need lots of fancy editing and effects and amazing editing skills. It's just not required. You just need a good message to be able to speak clearly and concisely, record it. Maybe, you know, if you're going to go live, that could be a good way to practice in your group or something. But if you're just going to record it and edit it later, which actually is what I'm doing with this video, it's pretty simple to take a stop, have a pause, have a drink. You can cut out any mistakes, so you can just retakes, use the clap method. So if you make a mistake and you want to easily find it, double clap. You'll see two spikes in the audio when you're in the editing, and you'll know that that's a point at which you've got to cut out. So, you know, there's some very easy tips to get started with, and it's really a case of having the confidence in yourself. You're a property expert, you're confident with what you do, you meet people every day. Are you really afraid of a little piece of plastic that, you know, is going to record what you say? Of course not. I mean, if you've got any hesitations or fears about actually putting yourself onto camera, it's probably more to do with feeling that you're not very good at making videos or you've never done it before. Honestly, just get over it. Just turn the camera on, record something, review it back. If you don't like it, delete it and try again. It's really that simple. So there's no real excuse for not being on camera, particularly if you're in a customer facing role, because you've clearly got the confidence that you need to be able to do it, and it's just a case of getting it done and getting yourself out there. So that's, going back to what I said right at the beginning of the video, it's a bit of a mindset upgrade, but just do it. I mean, after you've done it a few times, you'll wonder why you never done it years ago. It really is very, very simple to do. So getting back to the point of uploading your videos to YouTube, when you do upload your videos, you are going to want to have some form of a thumbnail. So this is basically a cover shot of something that has the title, preferably has a picture of you on it, and maybe some details on the thumbnail, just to let people know what it's about. So whatever your title is, whatever the main theme of the video is, if you've got a background, some sort of graphic or something that can help emphasize that point, that's great to use as well. But you are going to want to use some kind of a thumbnail. Now, one of the easiest ways to create a thumbnail, there are many ways of doing it. You can actually grab a still from somewhere in the video. You can use something like Canva, which is a graphics tool, online tool. There's a free entry-level package that you can use, which is actually really, really good for making thumbnails. There are loads of templates. There are loads of apps that you can get on your phones if you're using a PC or a Mac. Whatever it is, don't get hung up on the fact that you need a thumbnail. Just go and put something together that looks visually appealing. Go and do a search for other videos on YouTube that have a similar theme or content to what you're creating, and just look at what they've produced. Most of them won't be terribly complicated, and what you have is a simple graphic that essentially just tells people about your video at a glance. So moving on from the thumbnail, having intros and outros on your video, they're great if you can get them, but they're not really essential. If you've got a brand video sort of intro that you can use, then by all means add that at the start of your video. If it's got your logo and your agency name on it, doesn't need to be very long. You don't want a big long intro on a YouTube video, couple of seconds and that's it. A bit like at the start of this video. The last thing you want is a big long intro and people clicking away before they even get to you starting to talk. So if you do have one, just make sure it's short and concise, and it's just a little jingle or something just to introduce your business, to remind people of your brand. That's all it needs to be. Now, once the intro is played, obviously you will then start talking, and you really have about 15 seconds to introduce the topic and tell people what it is that they're going to get from your video. And so you really, this comes back to what I said right at the beginning, is if you're just going to switch your camera on and start talking and you don't really have a plan, you possibly need to change that around a little bit. And just, even if it's a case of jotting down some notes and some bullet points, or just getting it clear in your own mind before you start talking. If you are a natural speaker, if you are a natural performer, that's great, but just have a clear message in your mind that you're going to tell people about. And ideally, if it can include the title, the topic of, well, it should certainly include the title or the topic of the video that you're going to be talking about, just so that people know that they're in the right place and they're going to get what it was they were looking for. Now, the actual content itself, if you're not a natural speaker, if you don't have any kind of on-stage presence, if you've not been a speaker, if you've not got up and done any kind of training in front of people before, that's fine, it's not a problem. If you've got content already, if you've written blog posts, then essentially you've already got yourself a script. So if you don't have your blog content in the form of video, then that's a great place to start, because you've already thought about the content, you've laid it out, hopefully you've broken it down into the main heading the title, you've got subheadings to break down your content into sections, and you can basically just talk about, it doesn't have to be verbatim, don't have to read it off word for word, but you can read a passage and then just paraphrase it back with the camera switched on, and that will essentially get you started on creating some really great videos with really good content if you've already got some good blog posts that you've written in the past to use as a template. If you don't have a blog yet, and if you've not been writing content for social media or your website or anywhere else for that matter, you can actually do this both ways around. So what you can do is you can actually just start speaking about a topic on camera, and you can get that transcribed and turn that into a blog post later on. So you can actually do it either way around. If you don't have any blog posts or any content, talking to the camera, get it transcribed, edit it up, tidy it up, break it down into sections, you've got a blog post. If you've already got a blog post but you've never created a video, it's a template for your next video. So either way around is completely fine. There's no right or wrong answer to this. It's just a case of making sure that you're getting the information essentially out of you into the digital domain, into the world where people can actually go and find it. Because if you want to position yourself as an expert and you want people to come to you organically by finding out what it is, getting answers and solutions to problems, you've got to put yourself out there. They're not going to find you otherwise. And so actually converting your blogs into videos so that they can see the face behind the content, and you can get your personality across, and you can add in various other elements of your brand message and stories, and if you like jokes, you can add those in as well, because ultimately people are going to connect with you for who you are. And so don't shy away from that. Just put it out there, let people see who you are, and that will get you the people that are interested in you for your services and your professional demeanor, your expertise, your local celebrity ultimately, and they will connect with you on that level. Now, once you've shot the video, if you're doing it as a recording and you need to edit it, then obviously you're thinking, I'm not an editor, I don't have any editing tools. Now, that may or may not be true, depending on what you've got. I know Mac has some good editing tools, PC has some basic editing tools built in, but whether you're on Mac or whether you're on PC or something else, maybe you're using Linux or something, who knows. But there are some great tools out there. Now, for recording, if I'm using my webcam, I will use a program called OBS Studio, and there's a completely free version of that. It's an open source program. It can do screen shares, it can do capturing video and audio, and it will basically make a recording. Now, there is a bit of a learning curve to using some of the tools I'm about to talk about, because they do have some advanced features in them, but just the basics of getting your screen capture set up, getting your webcam capture set up, it's relatively easy. There's lots of tutorials on how to do it, and it shouldn't take you too long. Unless you're a complete technophobe, it's not going to be that difficult for you to get that set up. Maybe you need to watch a few tutorials. A lot of these have really great training built into them. If not, there's always YouTube for finding out how to do certain things. Now, whether you recorded through your webcam or you recorded through your phone and transferred it to your computer, what I use for editing is a program called DaVinci Resolve. And again, this is another one that you do need to spend a bit of time learning how to use it, understanding what the steps are. But once you get into it, it's actually really quite easy to use. You only need a mouse and a keyboard. You don't need any kind of editing suite, hardware. It can all be done in software using all your standard controls. And ultimately, you can cut out your mistakes, do little transitions, add in your intros and your outros. You know, all of those things are easily doable through DaVinci Resolve. It is, again, it's a free program. There is a pro version available. It's unlikely you're going to need that at this stage, but you know, just know that there are free tools out there that are really good. You don't need to go out and spend hundreds or thousands of pounds on software. It's just not necessary. You've got more than enough capability within these free programs for you to get done what you need to get done to, you know, record your video, get it edited up, and put on your thumbnail through Canva, which is free. And again, you know, nothing needs to cost you huge amounts of money to do this. It will take some time, not going to lie. There are learning curves and things that you need to know that are essentially going to get you into a place where you can do this effectively and efficiently, and that will take a little bit of time. But if you're prepared to put in a little bit of effort, you can absolutely do this, and it will not cost you anything apart from a bit of time. So when you're in the office and you've got a bit of time on your hands, evenings, weekends, whatever it might be, just take a little bit of time to run through the tutorials, do a little practice, you know, shoot a 5-minute video, put a load of mistakes in deliberately, and then just edit it up, export it, watch it, and see what you get as a result. And that's all you need to do. Do that a few times to start to get into the flow of how things work, and you'll be on the way to actually creating some great video for yourself, your personal brand, and your business. Now, once you've done all that and you've got an end product, a video that you're happy with and you're prepared to show to the world, and you upload it to YouTube, as it goes up into YouTube, it will be a draft, and then you can add the title and you can fill out all the details. You'll want to add some keywords and some search terms into it. You may want to add an end tile. You may want to add some other bits and pieces in YouTube that allow people to click on your logo, go off to your website, and, you know, various other things like that. But there is a little bit of SEO to do in, and all of those things that we talk about are essentially a SEO for video process, and it's pretty simple to do. Again, there are some tools out there. Now, obviously, there are going to be tutorials about how to do this. It's YouTube, after all. They're a video channel. They want people to use their products, their search engine, and so there are loads of tutorial videos by YouTube that, you know, will show you how to do certain things. There will be loads of other people that have created tutorials to show you how to do things as well. But there are some tools, again, available that you can use. So if you want to get a tool to find out what kinds of, you know, tags and titles that you should be using, and you want some help with creating your thumbnail, you could get something like TubeBuddy, which is a tool that will help you through all those things, and it has little checklists for you to go through when you upload a video and you're getting ready to publish it. And if you don't have any followers on your channel, they have a starter pack for their professional version, which I think is something like $4.99 a month for using, you know, their pro tools, until you get up to, I think it's something like 1,000 followers on your channel. And so again, there is a free version available, but, you know, very cheap to use the pro tools and actually just get into the process of doing everything in the right way. It may be that once you're familiar with the process, you don't actually need the pro tools anymore, and you don't need the suggestions because you've done it enough times that you've figured it all out for yourself. You've locked it into your memory banks, and it's just such second nature to you. So, you know, in essence, that's kind of how you create an amazing video. Now, we cover this in your download, which by now should definitely be in your inbox. And we talk a little bit more about adding stories into your content, because obviously stories are great for video because people will connect with you even more. And on the third page, we've got a little 8-step guide that you can follow that just cover these steps that we've talked about, just to give you a refresher reminder of what it is you need to do for each of your videos. So that's pretty much it for this bonus training. Following those steps and turning your content into video or creating video to get more content for your blog, either way around, like we say, no wrong answers here, is really a way for you to get started creating great videos for your business essentially. So don't be worried about what people are going to think. The reason that they're searching for the videos that you're creating is because they want an answer to whatever the question was, whatever the problem was that they typed in. So should they find your video, then chances are they're going to get helped. Now, you can, like we have with this video is a bonus after you get the download, but this video will also be available on YouTube, and in the description, if you haven't got the cheat sheet, if you've not signed up for it, obviously you can watch the bonus training because it's got the headline about how to create great video, and then obviously you can go back and get the cheat sheet at a later stage. So if you're doing things like that as well with your video just to give people extra value and to over deliver, then again that's going to put you in a really good place for helping people and making sure they get the answers they need. So using video and uploading it to YouTube is going to be one of the elements that you use in the bigger process of generating organic leads for your business. And in terms of where this fits into our program, the Local Celebrity Leads Mastery coaching program, this actually is one of the actions of step 5. So each of our steps, we have a 9-step program in the Local Celebrity Leads Mastery on the roadmap, which you can now see. And this is action 3 of step 5. So essentially what this is a part of the full 9 steps that gets you to automatically generating organic leads on autopilot. Now, if that's something that you think you might like to find out more about, then what you can actually do is get in touch. If you join our Facebook group, you can send a message through that, or you can go to our business page or my personal page on Facebook and get in touch through Messenger. If you want to get in touch via Messenger, just type in free call, and obviously we'll reach out and get back in touch with you, and we'll start a little conversation, find out where you are, what you want to know, and we'll potentially book you into a call if you feel like you'd actually really like to find out if you're a good fit for the Local Celebrity Leads Mastery coaching program. If you got value from this video, and I hope you did, if not, please let me know why you didn't in the comments below. Would love to hear that too. But if you did get value, please do like the video. As you're probably aware by now, this is on YouTube, and so a thumbs up would be really quite helpful. And if you want to see more videos like this, then please do click on the subscribe bell and turn on the notifications, and then whenever we post up a new training video, you'll know about it. So that's it for now. If you want to reach out and get in touch, join the Facebook group, contact me through Messenger. If you have any questions, ask in the comments or reach through the other methods we've already mentioned, and like, comment and subscribe. So that's it for now. Hope you have a great day. Until the next video, goodbye for now.